Hello, hello, hello. This is Gary Hamblin, the CEO and president of the Las Cruces Green Chamber of Commerce, and hope you had a good 4-day weekend. If you were able to have that 4-day weekend or 3-day weekend, numbers are wrong a little bit. It's still very early on a Tuesday morning. A big thank you again to our veterans who have served to protect our freedoms. And, one day one day out of the year is really not enough to thank you, but it's nice to be able to take that opportunity. As I do on a regular basis, come to you via video to share with you what's been happening with the Las Cruces Green Chamber of Commerce and bringing in guests. There's somebody very special right here. You can't see him yet, but he's right here. See, there he is. There he is. We're going to do the big unveil, a big reveal, actually, in just a few moments. But I've got a little bit of housekeeping to go through. We've had a lot of folks renew and become new members of the Green Chamber. The Asombra Institute for Science Education. Joanne Ferrari is a friend of the Green Chamber. Natural Relief Manufacturing Center and Dispensary. Antics, Inc., Las Cruces Academy, Counseling Las Cruces, Haciendas at Grace Village, Dead Running, Abode Incorporated, Business Builders LLC just this morning, Janice Paul Realty just this morning, Indigo Mermaid just this morning. Lots of folks. Thank you so much. A lot of renewing members. And a new member of Natural Relief Manufacturing Center and Dispensary. Hoping to get a green drinks there sometime in the new year. Anyway, thank you all so much. It's been a great weekend. We've got a lot going on, but I do want to bring in our friend here, who is our guest for our Think Local Love shout out. We have the one and only Bruce Ernst, who is a dear friend of mine.
Hello.
We get to work together on other nonprofit stuff, but because he can't say no, he is also, well, he's learning, right? You're learning?
To say no?
Yeah.
I'm not. Ask my wife. I'm not.
Yeah, no, not yet. So Bruce is the president of the board of directors for KTAL Community Radio. And I still remember the ribbon cutting for KTAL when you guys had the whole parking lot party and live music and people got tours of the studio. And so, Bruce, as the board president, tell us a little bit about how KTAL came about, because community radio is really popular now.
Yeah, so the federal government was giving out licenses for low power FM stations. So it's 100 watts or less. And we applied for the license. Somebody notified Kevin Bigsby over at SWEC about the license, and he ended up applying for it. And started getting people together he knew. We had similar tastes in music, and he knew that I was into politics and stuff, and so he called me and asked me to help bring the station on board. And so Kevin and I are both founding members, as is Nan Rubin.
Right.
Nan does a lot of work at the station. She's our grant writer, so
grant writer, mistress extraordinaire.
Yes, and she just happened to move into town at the same time. And so we all got together and started having meetings. Peter Goodman was on the initial board. And, we talked about it for about 3.5, 4 years.
I know. I remember I was part of those conversations, too, just because of my previous history in radio, and just really excited about the opportunity for community radio to really have a place in Las Cruces. And just this opportunity for people who don't have that background in radio to get that experience in radio and be able to, share their voices and their opinions and their experience.
Right, and my background with radio was as a listener, and that was it. I never had any other background, and it's been quite interesting. I mean, Nan's brought in people, to help us do the setups and stuff, and I did a lot of the technical work because I'm a geek. So I did a lot of the setup work. The station, runs fairly well right now.
Yeah.
We hit an occasional glitch, but it's great working with the station. It's great working with the volunteers. We have a lot of good volunteers at the station.
And so you've got this Roadrunner review coming up. I'm going to take your piece of paper here because this is the Roadrunner review for KTAL. And tell folks where they can find KTAL on the dial. And we say on the dial, but it's really all digital.
Yeah, so we're at 101.5 on the radio dial. You can also listen to us at lccommunityradio.org or Radio KTAL, Radio QUETAL.org. There's we stream everything that we do online. The review, the fundraiser is going to be the 17th on a Sunday. It's from 5 to 9. We will serve hors d'oeuvres for an hour, and there will also be a silent auction that people can bid on. We've got some nice packages. We have some travel packages and some food packages that will be up for silent auction. And then there'll be 3 hours of music. The music will be from local musicians as well as a few of the hosts on the station. We've got some really good musicians that act as hosts.
So Rob McCorkle and Marty Racine are the Cosmic Troubadours, and they do a radio show together.
Yes,
right?
yeah, they do a Thursday night radio show. It's kind of an outlaw country Americana type show. I love that kind of music.
Yeah.
So being a Midwestern, my parents were both farm people.
Oh,
so
sure,
I
sure.
do like a little country western.
So, and you've got a dear friend of ours, Chris Sanders, who's just an amazingly talented songwriter and performer. CWA-own, I mean, I've seen him around. Gene Keller, oh my gosh, and Doug Adams. I don't know Teresa Tuduri, so tell me about her.
So Teresa's a fairly new host at the station. I think her show is, I hope I don't goof it up, live from the Double Wide.
Nice.
She's got an interesting sense of humor. We did a live show from the Spotted Dog, and she played there. That was the first time I heard her play. Great sense of humor, and just a good musician.
Oh, wow.
Another one, Doug Adams. Doug grew up in El Paso and became a studio musician in Southern California, and he's quite a good acoustic guitar player. And so he organized all the music part.
Okay.
Linda Hall, and I just big shout out to Linda, because Linda's the one that's put this together. I have hardly had to do anything, so show up for a couple meetings. Linda's great at this. When she talked to Doug about helping set up the music, he said, yeah, as long as I get to do it. And I don't want any other input. So he took over that and, to really get the show organized. And at the end of the show, there'll be several of the hosts that are musicians, and they're going to do a small set.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. And so the money raised from this, as we wrap this up, the money raised from this, how will this help KTAL?
Well, so we're an all-volunteer organization, so right now we don't have any employees. We'd kind of like to have a station manager that might work part-time, but that's the situation as it is now. We have a $30,000 a year budget. It's very small. And we get some of our money through grants, and we get some of it, of course, through underwriters and local supporters. And this is a chance for people to help support the station and also have a good time. Like I say, the music will be good. The food's being provided by the CHOP, which is Doniana Community College organization.
Tom's group?
Yeah.
And Tom Drake there.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I haven't, when they went for the food tastings, I couldn't make it, which is a shame because I love to eat.
Yeah.
So, but we did have, the people that went said the food was great.
Yeah.
And so there should be quite a lot of, it'll be enough for a meal.
Yeah.
And then the Rio Grande Theater, so there'll be a cash bar if you'd like to have a drink. And like I say, some good music.
That's fantastic. Bruce, we're very excited about that. So it's taking place on Sunday, November 17th from 5 to 9 o'clock at the Rio Grande Theater. It is the KTAL Roadrunner Review. If you'd like more information, I'll put the little website down there. Bruce, I know that planning a big event is always something that takes a lot of time, and overseeing a nonprofit is always taking a lot of time, so I'm really grateful for what you're doing. We'll have a great time and be able to celebrate some great local music. So thank you so much, sir. I've got just a little bit of housekeeping to do. We have our green drinks tomorrow night at Enchanted Sun Realty. It's that container storage office space on Loman. You can RSVP down below. We do ask for an RSVP just so that our hosts know how many people to expect. Our first Friday will be on December 13th, not December 6th, because the library is booked that day. So move it move it later 1 week. Robert Reno from We Are IT is going to talk about how to make your website stand out. And then there is a big announcement tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, here on the Green Chamber Facebook page. But I can't tell you anything except that it's a big announcement. So I hope that you will check it out and participate. And as always, we appreciate your support of locally owned businesses and to Think Local First and your support of the Green Chamber. So have a great week. Hope to see you around, and we will talk with you soon.